Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening to this. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm William Meyer. I'm the Ward Councillor here in Kingston and also representing the villages of Falmer and the Lower Ouse Valley, villages like Rodmell, Swanborough, Iford, Piddinghoe, North Ease. I'm the Cabinet Portfolio Holder for Housing at Lewes District Council, which is why I'm making this little piece, and it's following on from what James McCleary, the Deputy Leader of the Council, has been doing this week, where he's been doing Facebook Live broadcasts, where he's been able to answer directly some questions put to him by residents. Now, I'm doing this, it's out of my comfort zone, I'll be absolutely honest, and I'm doing this at a time of national emergency, essentially. But I wanted to reassure anyone watching that the Council are playing their full part in ensuring that public services are maintained and the responsibilities that we have from the collection of bins to the housing brief that we have, that we are doing everything we can to fulfil our responsibilities. And I want to just mention a couple of things to you today about what the Council are doing in regard to our housing responsibilities. Before I do that, I'd just like to thank the team of public sector workers, essentially those working at Lewes District Council and in all councils across the country, and to recognise that whilst we were all outside last night, I certainly was applauding the NHS for all that they're doing for us in this time of national crisis. We're also very dependent, and we're very grateful for all that the local council workers, the council officers, are doing for us in maintaining the good standards and the functioning of society as we know it. I think it's important to remember, I think at a time like this, just how much we need public sector workers and how much they all do for us all the time. Often it's very unrecognised, it's not celebrated, but they are all part of ensuring that we have a resilient and workable society. So what is Lewes District Council doing? What are councillors like myself doing? Well, I suppose we're providing some oversight, and in particular at the moment we're ensuring that rough sleepers are looked after. Now, there's currently a directive, and we were already working very hard before the directive to ensure that all rough sleepers in Lewes, and there were currently 7 that were known to us across Lewes District Council, and you may think that's not very many, but you may think like me that even one rough sleeper is one rough sleeper too many. But we are ensuring that those people are individually being assessed and immediate placements are being offered to them through our housing team. Now, we're going to be monitoring any cases where we consider them to be at high risk of infection, and where they are, then self-contained units will be provided for those particular cases and any symptomatic rough sleepers that we come across. Now, additional funds are also being provided. These will effectively ensure that there are support packs available for those who are self-isolating rough sleepers, and to encourage them to continue to stay in and protect themselves in the same way that the rest of us in the community, I hope, are following government guidelines to ensure that we safeguard ourselves and those around us. We're hoping that by providing these basic amenities of food packages and also equipment such as microwaves and toasters and kettles and things like that, and actually mobile phones as well, we hope that will give people who are vulnerable and who have been sleeping on the streets the confidence to take care of themselves and the ability to self-isolate effectively. So that's what we've been doing with rough sleepers, and I have received some queries about that, and I just wanted to reassure you that the council has taken its responsibilities, had already been taking its responsibilities very, very seriously and doing all it could through the housing team, and this is being stepped up before this weekend comes upon us. The other activity that I think we have got a huge role in, and we've got a massive workload, is we're calling over 3,600 vulnerable residents, where we're undertaking for each of them a welfare check. Now, in order for us to do that, we have to keep the telephone lines open at all times. And that's why we've been encouraging people to find information through our website or to email us, essentially to contact us by any other means, because we ourselves have obviously many members of staff who are ill and who are suspected and therefore being ill and self-isolating. So the numbers of our teams are reduced at this time, and they are all working very hard, exceptionally hard, and under difficult circumstances with a very, very substantial workload. Now, in order to ensure that we can answer your inquiries by email, I believe that these are being triaged where we can, so that we go back to those most immediately in need of response, and trying to ensure that nobody is waiting longer than necessary. But please bear with us, as James McCleary has been saying all week on his Facebook live answers. We are doing all we can, but officers, our staff, are under a lot of stress themselves. They're not in the sort of NHS front line, but they're nevertheless in the front line. So please be patient and be tolerant. In terms of information generally, we keep advising everyone to go to the website, to go to the Lewes District Council website. There's a lot of information up there, and it's increasing all the time. And alternatively, you can, of course, always use your ward councillors as a resource if you have any particular inquiries or concerns. I think those of you who don't know, there are 41 of us across Lewes District Council, and we are there as an available resource. I'm hopeful that my other cabinet colleagues, these faceless people who have these strange portfolio responsibilities, which, if you're like me, a few years ago I didn't know much about this. I was only elected quite recently, and what I didn't expect to do was to find myself in a situation as we find ourselves in now. Ironically, only a few weeks ago I was focusing primarily on our responsibilities to build more council houses across the district. Well, we're still intending to do that, but obviously we now have a more important and more pressing priority, so the rest of my portfolio is concerned with supporting people through our housing teams who have housing needs generally, and I really do believe the officers have done a fantastic job and continue to do so, and my heartfelt thanks to them for all that they're doing. My final message is to please obey the government guidelines on social distancing. Please ensure that you're washing your hands and keeping at least 2 meters away from people when you are out and about. Please restrict your shopping visits to the minimum, and please don't buy more than you need. I know there's a balance to be struck there where you don't go out too often, but you don't hoard food too much in your homes, because that won't help us as a community either. And then finally, I want to sort of be a bit more hopeful, because we are going to get through this. This is not forever. And when we do get through this, I strongly believe that the community resilience that we are creating, which we already had, but we're certainly creating more of it as time goes by, that sense of community will be something which will be a lasting resource, will be a lasting reminder that we're all better together than we are working always in separate, isolated situations. There is an expression, isn't there, that if you want to go fast, you should go alone, but if you want to go far, you should go together. So with a reminder of that, and a reminder of keep safe, keep well, be kind, and be patient, we will together get through this. Okay, thanks very much for listening. As I say, my name's William Meyer. You can find my details online in terms of contact details if you want to contact me directly. Similarly, all other councillors can be reached through email or usually phone if you want to reach out to them, and their information is also on the council's website. So thank you very much for listening, and keep safe and keep well. Bye for now.